with the dresses, and you knew he was armed. You're like, I know it's gonna happen. I don't know how we're gonna get there, but I know it's gonna happen, and it's gonna be amazing. And knowing didn't make it any less amazing.
Exactly.
Because it doesn't hold your hand. You're in on the joke, but then it doesn't. It's interesting. It lets you in on the joke, but
Right.
it doesn't hold your hand with it as well. That's why I dig it. Like that's why I think it was so smart to bring the director over with this movie. And can we 30 seconds? Let's talk about this real quick. I think this movie's tomato meter score was up in the 90s. Liam Neeson said what he said. Horrible timing. No idea what he was thinking. The movie immediately dropped into almost rotten territory. It's back up to 69, and then it tanked the opening weekend, and then it was quickly out of theaters. So it's just a bummer that all that transpired to hurt this movie, because without that controversy, I think this movie would have been really appreciated with audiences.
Yeah, when you look it up, too, there's not much on it. There's not a whole lot talking about it. There's only a few articles about that and the red carpet, and then there's nothing. So we are trying to rectify that right now.
Yeah.
We're taking it back.
His timing, it's like, Liam, come on. Like, if I produced this movie and directed it, and then I heard Liam Neeson's story, they canceled the red carpet. Like, it's like, come on, man. But it's a bummer, because this is a movie that I think
it should be cherished.
It's something special, because it isn't what you think. And I think it provides enough jokes to keep the movie fresh. I mean, at the end when Avalanche flies into the snowblower, and just the chaos at the end, the child blowing the snowblower. I mean, he kidnaps the kid, and they form a nice bond. I dig it. I like that there wasn't much drama between Laura Dern and Qui-Gon and what's her character from Last Jedi?
Oh, Holden.
Holden and Qui-Gon drama. So, and also Julia Jones, she plays someone in The Mandalorian as well in the first season, the Seven Samurai episode. I don't know if you remember that with the AT-AT. A lot of Star Wars people in here.
A lot of Star Wars happening right now.
I want to see Emmy Rossum. Emmy Rossum
in Star Wars
could be good in the Star Wars world.
Yeah, why not?
She's cheeky. She can pull it off.
She should play Mara Jade.
Who's that?
Luke Skywalker's wife in the extended universe originally.
Ooh. So then she's cool. And she's funny in this. I liked her in this. I liked her dealing with Gip. Like, it just made me happy in this. But
she's so earnest. She wants to do her job right. He doesn't really care. He wants to give the locals a pass.
Does he call her Dirty Harry?
He makes her go write a traffic ticket instead of writing up the local kids for smoking pot.
In the original film, the cops were much more bungling. And the guy was trying to write a ticket from his car, and he opened up his car door, whacked another car, threw the thing on there. And so one of the biggest differences I think the In Order of Disappearance is much more bleak, and it has some very nasty moments. But one thing I like is that in the 2014 film, which stars Stellan Skarsgård, which is pretty neat, and also Tormund is in there from Game of Thrones. He's Santa. But have you seen it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. But I do like that in this one, Aya, she dodges the punch and then grabs Viking's balls. Because in Order of Disappearance, he just levels her. And then I know that his crew looks at him like he's insane. And then watching the actor, who I remember loving him in Kon-Tiki, so it was cool seeing him get this role. But I guess I don't know. I guess they didn't play it like it was funny. Everyone looked at him mortified, but they also wanted laughs out of it. So it was a nice change of pace that Aya in this one dodged a terrible punch and then got a good nut grab in there.
She's got a toughness to her, for sure.
She's cool.
When she scares him in the bathtub.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
So, but when we were talking about how we're bringing it back and giving this movie the praise it deserves, I was going to say, this movie is unlike any other movie except for Order of Disappearance, which is it exactly like.
Exactly, right? And sorry if I was being redundant with you. I didn't know if you had watched it. I just love
No, that's good.
I just really like that they... Like, in the opening shots, I went, hey, this is that. I was like, hey, I've seen that shot. And Megan, you read about the original, right? What was they saying about the original?
I think that they had a budget and they were really doing what they could with the budget. This was a much larger budget movie, the 2019 version. So the director, in an extremely brief interview, made the comment that they were doing what they could. So you would have someone stealing stuff from their grandma's house to put on the walls in the movie because they had no money.
I love that. I
And
love that.
And you could tell too, and I like the sort of the sign language, the hand. So it's like he had little in each cube. He had hands doing like a symbol of sign language in his thing. But you could tell they just grabbed cheap things from wherever they could. But it still looked good, I would say.
Yeah.
I still dug it, and I do think the one thing I appreciate the most of An Order of Disappearance is the suitcase gag, where they put a lot more emphasis on dragging a suitcase out of a 2-foot high blizzard.
Wingman's wife at the funeral. It's funny in the 2019 version just because it's her pink suitcase stands out, but they really could linger on it a bit more.
Yeah. Because they let her just walk away, and In Order of Disappearance, she's having trouble. But I do like how she's treated in Cold Pursuit. I do think, like, okay, clearly
She puts her hand up to the glass when she realizes he's being taken away.
she's meant to be a little over the top, but like she tells him to take off his shoes. That's fair. You have a nice home. And Liam Neeson tracks in with his boots. And then he sits down. And she knows that he's a former criminal, and this is a criminal coming into the house, or brother. And I just think they seem to like each other. I like their relationship in this. And once again, it's just a case of characters you like. I don't know. It's neat.
Well, I think too it's a very real world because you'll meet people and you're like, how are they together? but they're genuinely happy together.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you see here, where it's like from the outside, from the visitor's point of view, you're like, oh, that marriage seems sketch at best. But they're both just super content, and you're like, yeah, well, if that's floats your boat, have at her.
Yeah, he went to Buster and he ended up married.
Which is the classic love story, right? Like that's you hear that every day.
One for the ages, yes.
Right.
I do like too that he just gives it to Viking, and he just like
he lies about the whole thing, and it's great. So that's the narrative sort of structure of this I really enjoy about this movie. I was thinking about it at the very beginning, getting excited for what all it sets up. How the fact that from the beginning, Liam Neeson is upset that his son has been killed, and he's out there just taking people out, trying to find who's the next person, killing them. And these two different groups of criminals think it's another group of criminals or the cops coming after them. They just don't even suspect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's so off the radar.
Exactly. And Wingman, Coxman, Nels' brother, throws him off the trail because, they get a name, and then they go and kill him and they think it's done. And it's still going, and people are still dying.
Mm-hmm. And that's the perfect...
It's just so much fun. It keeps it going through the whole movie.
With everybody dying like this, it's just fun, right, Megan?
Yeah.
It's just so enjoyable.
I mean, the deaths in this are so funny.
But again, I think that keeps the movie from getting bloated because people are dying so fast. They have such interesting little parts, and then they die, and then we get more people.
I love the death of Speedo, and I know this doesn't sound great, but he gets choked. And
he completely underestimates Nels.
Coxman stops choking him, thinking he's dead, and then he goes, and then he has to choke him again. It's just so brutal and dark and just black humor.
And he has all those rings on his fingers.
So many rings. I don't understand the rooftop snow party in Denver during winter.
You've never had a rooftop snow party, Mark?
Well, no.
We're from Florida.
Yeah, even when I was in Wisconsin, I was 7, so that would have been weird. So it's...
Tell us, is it a thing, Adam?
If there's heaters...
No, you bundle up, right? And you're definitely like not warm, but the cool thing about a rooftop snow party is that usually you get that?
Yeah.
Is there's usually a nearby snowbank that you can jump off of the roof onto.
Oh. Okay.
And you would get drifts so big like where you could toboggan off of your roof onto a snowdrift onto and you go right down to the road. Like it was incredible.
I mean, one might guess that the crowd that was up there is probably also consuming enough drugs and alcohol. They're not too concerned about the weather.
They're not feeling much.
They're in just shirts and jeans, and they're up high on a roof.
Yeah. So
we obviously don't party very much.
Yeah.
I grew up in Nipigon, Ontario, where it's very, very, very cold. 40, 45 below is like a winter day. That is not a normal thing. And every year, somebody would lose their toes or ears because they were drinking out in the cold and just like fell asleep or just didn't feel how cold they were. Went to the hospital, like, oh yeah, your toes are frozen. We got to cut them off. Or your ear, the top of your ears are frostbite. We got to cut that's the thing that would happen if you drank outside.
Whoa. So there's a lot of toes being gone in
Well,
this
yeah,
Denver rooftop party.
if they're not careful.
Do you want to hear something neat about Raul Trujillo in this movie who plays Thorpe, I guess the main enforcer for White Ball?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he's also a dancer, and he has a dance troupe. He's been acting for a long time, and one of my favorite movies is New World, directed by Terrence Malick. I've made you watch it. You're looking at the Criterion right to your right now. Beautiful film. He choreographed all the dances in New World to make it as authentic as possible. And I love him in this movie when he's getting the hotel registration. She's like, oh yeah, we don't have any reservations going on right now. And he's like, I will kill you. Or I will.
Do you know what I could do to you on Yelp?
Yeah, I will destroy you on Yelp. It's
Yelp.
just the delay into the on Yelp is just a beautiful thing. It's just so cheeky.
Let's talk morality here for a minute. Liam Neeson's son dies of a heroin overdose that he did not inflict on himself, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you think he got himself into that lifestyle, and that was kind of a byproduct of the choices that he had made?
Yes. Now,
I thought that he didn't know about it, though. Didn't his buddy say he didn't know anything about it?
I thought that they knew about the drugs, but that he didn't know that the other guy took some of the drugs.
Right. That's the way I read that. Is that he wasn't squeaky clean.
Mm-hmm.
Well, as they say, all of the answers to life can be found in Lord of the Flies, so maybe we should have just studied that a bit more.
Why aren't we just doing that movie right now?
Oh my gosh.
No, and
Talk about a dark movie.
I think you're right, too. His quest for revenge. But see, that's the whole point of this movie, right, Megan? What the director was saying. It's pointless. His quest for revenge, he loses his son anyway. He didn't know his son to begin with. He didn't know nothing about his son. Then his wife leaves him because he just stops talking to her. Just stops completely, turns off. Then he just starts murdering people, which sets off a chain of events, which gets
a chain of murders.
Like White Bull and his crew get killed. I mean, and just more people get killed, and then it just cascades into a bloodbath of.
I would call it, Mark. I would call it. Ready for this? A snowball effect.
Oh my gosh. Yep. Jeez, look at you.
Here all night, folks. I'm here all night. Defibrillators.
Like Val Kilmer and Willow, correct?
Yes. Just like Val Kilmer and Willow.
You want to talk about morality. What about the part when Viking finds out that Ryan has been taken and he's throwing an absolute fit? He's hysterical. And his morality on the subject is you take a man's son, you call. He's so offended that no one has called in this kidnapping.
There's no ransom.
Yeah.
Where's the ransom?
It's amazing.
And you know what I love too is he went and killed that guy's brother based on no proof. And then he's mad that a son, he killed a son. And now he's mad that his son was taken without a call. Mm-hmm. I just love the warped morality of these gangsters.
Yeah, he's like, we killed a Native American, hung up wrongly, and hung him up on a sign for everyone to see. Oops.
And then the hitman shows up, gets 2/3 of his money because he thought it was half. That's what cops think. And then
and he's upset with the room because there's a convention in town.
And then Viking kills him because he made a deal with Coxman. So he
didn't honor his deal.
Exactly. So then he gets killed for not honoring a deal.
Or his grammar.
Oh,
right.
gosh.
But it's classic like Yakuza stuff, right? Like anytime that the Yakuza are involved in something, it's like, okay, well, like honor is very important to us. And like, how would you, or even like Johnny Chan in Fast and the Furious, where it's like, you disrespect me in front of my family. That's the worst thing you could do. But it's like, but you're a criminal stealing DVD players and like committing murder. So like you're not in an honorable lifestyle. So how can honor be that important to you? It's a real like, talking to the side of your mouth thing. And I find that both of these organized crime situations are exactly the same. They're like, honor is honor and rules, and like there's a way you conduct your business. This is how you do it. So you have to follow the rules